This video, I will talk about 14, 15, and 16. It says write an equation for each line described. So number 14 says we want to write the line for the equation that passes through the points -1, -3, and 4, -5. And the directions, it doesn't state it, but we want the equation given in point slope form. So the first thing we're going to need to do, since we're given 2 points, is find the slope. So remember, we're going to do our y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 formula. So we're going to say -5 minus -3 over 4 minus -1. And that should leave us with -2 over 5. So our slope for our line should be -2/5. And then remember, point slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times the quantity of x minus x1. So let's just take each point and we'll create an equation with each of them. So you could end up with 2 different answers here. So using the -1, -3, we would get y plus 3 is equal to -2/5 times x plus 1. That's one possible answer. If you use the point for -5, you would have ended up with y plus 5 is equal to -2/5 times x minus 4. Either of those is correct. Number 15, we're looking for the equation of the line that passes through the point -8, 4 and is perpendicular to the line 3x minus 2y equals 11. So the first thing we need to do is we need to identify the slope of this given line. So one of the easiest things you can do, just take it and put it into slope-intercept form. We'll take our 3x minus 2y equals 11, and we're just going to isolate the y. So -2y is equal to -3x plus 11. And then we'll just divide it all by -2. So we now have y is equal to 3/2 x minus 5.5. So the slope that we need from there is 3/2. So remember, our perpendicular slope should be the negative reciprocal. So if the original slope is 3/2, our perpendicular slope should be -2/3. If we multiply those together, we should get -1. So we are going to end up using this one as our slope. Now we're going to take this point again, and we're going to use it with our new slope to create our equation of our line. So we'll say here y minus 4 is equal to -2/3 times x minus -8, which is the same as saying x plus 8. So right now, these are the answers for 14 and 15. So here's 14's possible answers. And then this is the only answer right now for 15. And we'll move on to number 16. So 16 says we want to come up with the equation of the line that passes through the point 10 pi over 4 and is parallel to the y-axis. So let's think about that for a second. I'm going to do a little sketch on here. So I've got a little coordinate plane. This is like my x-axis. And then I have my y-axis. So they say that this point is at the point 10, and then we have pi over 4. Now, maybe you don't understand where pi over 4 is. It'd be pretty close to the x-axis here, but if it's parallel to the y-axis, that means that it's going to end up running up and down. It's a vertical line, right? And we know that any vertical line is going to be in the form x equals something here, right? Because every single point on this line, actually I'm going to use a different color there. So all of these points have the same x coordinate all the way up and down this line. You know, you could say like right here, this is, let's say that's that point 10 pi over 4. This point above it could be like the point 10, 2. The point above that could be like the point 10, 3. So every point on this line has the same x coordinate there. So when we're writing the equation of that vertical line, remember it's going to be whatever the x is. So this is all the points where x equals 10. I know it's a little sloppy, I apologize for that, but that should be the answer to number 16, the equation x equals 10. All right, so that's the work and answers for 14, 15, and 16. Please make sure that you understand, and I will see you in class.